Hello, Auburn family. This is your host, Jason Campbell. We're On to Victory podcast, coming to you each and every week. Thank you for your support and your generosity for everything you do for our program. But today we have a special talent that we're bringing to the podcast, along with another special talent, my co-host, JG Tate, will be chiming in as well. So, why not wait? Let's go ahead and dive in and show you who it is. Ike Irish, can you come on?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, everyone, here's Ike Irish. He was a freshman here at Auburn, big time player coming out of high school. He's from Hudsonville, Michigan. Also led his team to 44-0 at St. Mary's Prep. His dad played for the Blue Jays, so he gets it from somewhere. So we already know it's in his blood. Ike, I just want to say first of all, welcome, man. Thank you for your time. Can you just talk about so far, like, I know you came out of high school being primarily a catcher, ranked the best in your state, and now being here at Auburn, you got off to a really good start, and you've done a great job so far. Just talk about your adjustment.
For me, I think that is that the biggest thing for me is, just trying to be myself. In high school, I lived in a dorm for 2 years at an all-boys Catholic school. And so I think that was a huge preparation for me, being able to come down here and be comfortable living on my own, and being able to, just do the daily things that I did, when I lived in a dorm in high school and, apply them to college. And I think that really helped me settle down early here and often. And then baseball wise, I just tried to, keep it as simple as possible. Baseball is a tough sport. You're going to fail more than you're going to succeed. And so I thought that just trying to be myself and, just provide a little spark to our team was just the thing that I needed to do to start off the season. I thought we've done it pretty well.
Ike, a lot of kids in your situation, I mean, freshmen, you mentioned living in a dorm, and that kind of probably helped you mature a lot the way that a freshman normally would in college. Do you feel like that time in the dorm, kind of living on your own, dealing with that independence, helped you come into college and just be ready to go right away?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it took a lot off of I think it gave me freedom, because, I'm not worried about, what I'm going to do for dinner, I'm not worried about laundry or stuff like that, because I've already done that stuff in high school. So it just allowed me to play baseball free.
That's awesome. Talk about the adjustment. I mean, obviously you're a catcher by trade, and they don't necessarily need you to play catcher right now. Talk about that adjustment to being a DH, and I understand you've been taking some reps at first base as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, Nate, I'm just trying to soak up everything I can from Nate right now. I mean, I think he's the best defensive catcher in America. So on that side, I'm just trying to soak everything up, gain knowledge and wisdom from Nate. But DH, I love it right now. I get to hang out with our teammates the entire game, get to hit a little bit too. And yeah, I've been practicing some at first base. But, whatever our team needs, whatever we can do to win, that's what we're here for.
Are you still getting better at catcher, just kind of like working with Nate during the week and working with bullpens and stuff?
Yeah. So every day in practice, we do indie defense, and there's the biggest time to learn from Nate, and especially, learn from Coach Thompson, and then learn from Coach Donamaker too, at first base as well.
Yeah. One of the things that really sticks out, I mean, you put up some incredible hitting numbers so far, but 4 walks, 1 strikeout, I think 29 at bats, 1 strikeout for a guy that has some extra base pop like you do. Talk about that batting eye and just how that's come along. When I was a kid, man, I was just up there hacking, and I feel like a lot of kids my age were doing that. You've kind of grown up in a different era, and you're paying a lot of attention to pitch selection now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's helped me is Coach Gross. He's a 10-year big leaguer. And so just being able to soak up as much information as I can from him, because he's done it before. He was a freshman All-American. He was a first-round pick. And so just trying to gain knowledge from him and just talking about an approach in the box and, not coming out of your approach in the box and just staying through the middle of the field. And then with 2 strikes, 1 strikeout, I thought the ball was in too. I thought it should have been a walk. But, with 2 strikes, it's just, trying to put the ball in play and do my job. We had Saturday's game, it was runners on second and third, 2 strikes, and just, just hit one into center field, ground ball. But, it's just having the mentality of I'm not going to get struck out by this pitcher. whatever I do, that is the worst thing that can happen. And so for me with 2 strikes, it's like a do or die mentality. Like there's nothing worse than a strikeout for me. And, you know, I think that's shown through my at-bats.
What's been the biggest thing that you and Coach Gross have talked about from a hitting perspective? I mean, you mentioned 2-strike hitting. I don't know if that's the one thing he's been pushing with you.
So, you know, Coach Gross is, you know, we have like the same, you know, mentality. Like when I came in, like we were on the same page from day one, and we really just clicked. And so it's not like he doesn't tell me like overarching themes. It's just little key hints like here and there, like driving the ball the other way, but doing it so that like in batting practice, like I tend to hit the ball the other way a ton, but there was times when I just, you know, where I'd start pulling off the ball and I hit the ball at the end of the bat. And Coach Gross was like, you know, just, hey, Ike, like right now, just hit the ball directly at the shortstop. Don't go any further left of it. And, you know, I saw that, you know, really, you know, help my in-game adjustments too, because now I'm not pulling off the ball. And it's just little tips and tricks like that he gives us.
Yeah, and I like everything that you're saying there. I when you talk about like, you know, Coach Gross being a hitting coach and everything, because I know Gabe from a long time. Also talk about like being a son, you know, of a dad that played with the Blue Jays, like and played in the pros. How much did he help you as a young kid coming through, teaching you the ropes of hitting a baseball?
He's taught me a ton. I mean, it's the best coach I've ever had, and it's my dad at the same time. So it's been awesome. We've grown together through the game. The game's made us closer. But the biggest like piece of advice he's ever given me was, you know, whatever happens at the field, you leave it at the field. And so like I went 4 for 5 on Sunday against USC, but you know, none of that matters now. You know, it's all in the past too. So looking back at like all the wisdom he's given me, it's just the biggest thing is just leave it at the field, whether you go for 5 for 5 or 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. Like it doesn't matter. There's always going to be another game in baseball. And so it's just being able to mentally leave it at the field and leave your success and leave your failures at the field, because at the end of the day, there is a life outside of baseball. And, you know, I'll spend more time outside of a baseball field than I will on the baseball field. So not letting that, you know, eat me up at night.
All right. Yeah. One more for me. Then I'm gonna pass you back to JG, and then you'll come back to me at the end. But talk about, you know, now that you're the SEC Player of the Week twice, 2 weeks in a row, SEC Freshman Player of the Week, like what that means to you, and like how do you process each week when you're leading up to games, like the difference between practice but preparation and get ready to play in these series?
Yeah. So, you know, being the SEC Player of the Week, it's cool and all, but you know, I was flying out back in the summer. I was flying out to back home for the draft, and you know, I was driving to the airport, and I was like, I love it here. Like, no amount of money is gonna, you know, turn me away from Auburn. Like, I love Auburn, and so like I called Coach Nonamaker, and I was like, hey, Coach, like I just want to tell you, like, no amount of money is gonna, you know, keep me from coming to Auburn. And at the end of the day, like I have 2 goals of mine. My freshman year, I'm going to win SEC Freshman of the Year. And then 2 is we're going to win a national title in our time here together. And so, you know, winning the SEC Player of the Week twice is cool, but it's not the end goal. And I think the 2 end goals we have in mind are, first is to win a national championship for Auburn. And then 2, as an individual, win the SEC Freshman of the Year.
I talk about so far, you guys are 5-1-1, got a tie the other day, which is kind of weird. You don't see that in baseball very often. But the way you guys are playing against Indiana, against Southern Cal, tell me about how this team's coming together and kind of what you're projecting for this team now that you've been able to play with them some in varsity games. Yeah,
I think for us, the sky's the limit. I think that anything short of a national title, it's not, you know, we're not striving to just go to Omaha anymore. You know, we've been there twice in the past 3 years. Our goal is to win a national title now. And, you know, I think this team can do it. I mean, our offense I think we have the best offense in America, and our pitching staff, we're young and we just need a little more experience, but our pitching staff, come the end of the year, you know, we're going to be playing our best baseball. And so I think the goal and the expectation is to win a national title.
Yeah, just a few more here for you as well. And like I said, you come off a series where y'all just beat USC, and in that series. But talk about, how USC went up 3-0, then you guys ended up coming back, hitting a couple singles, you got on a run there, and end up tying the game, and then you went ahead. But then in the 8th inning, you kind of separated yourselves with those 2 big home runs. Talk about this game and this series over this past weekend.
I think this series showed a lot about our team. It showed our true colors. I mean, we were down in every single game. And it showed that we're not out of any game. We'll be down 4 runs. We'll be down 5, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. We're eventually going to be able to hit. And I think that you saw the toughness and the grit and the blue collar mentality that we play with. And, our pitching staff just kept us in games, and that's all we needed them to do, because our offense was firing on all cylinders. And there's going to be, series where our offense isn't firing and we win a 2-1 ball game because our pitching staff, locks it down for us. And so it's just like a passing the baton aspect. Like, our offense was on fire this weekend. And you can expect that our pitching is going to be on fire one weekend, and they're going to win us a ton of ball games.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I like the way that this team fight back in games and everything. But I want to ask you about some NIL stuff. NIL has changed the dynamics of college sports for student athletes. And, not a lot of people know this, but as a college baseball player, not everyone is on full scholarship. Some guys only get partial and they have to pay the rest out of their pockets. So talk about what it means to be part of On to Victory with NIL, and how you see NIL that helps you and your teammates.
Yeah, I think NIL is huge for us. We only get 11.7 scholarships I think we have 38 dudes on our active roster right now. And so doing the math, that's like 45% for each kid. It's going to be more and less for, by a kid basis. But NIL is huge. Like, for me, I've used the money to just invest it and set myself up for my future. Because I know right now, like, I could get a flashy car, I could get this and that, but, I'd rather be setting up for like a retirement fund and growing that money instead of just, buying something that's going to degrade in value, but getting something and putting my money in smart places and trying to grow it to be as successful as possible, coming out of college, because baseball doesn't last forever. And there's a life outside of baseball. And so just being able to have some money put away, for whatever comes up in life.
J. Kim, I know you love hearing that, don't you? Former professional football player. You wish players would invest like that.
Oh, yes. I wish he needs to go be the spokesperson for all these athletes on campus right now, because the simple fact that he just said that, but it also goes from a standpoint, someone taught him that, and it's always about, learning from someone in front of you. And for me, it was my dad, who was a coach and principal, but they also taught me about finances. And Ike, I appreciate you saying that, because all these guys think the first thing they have to do is have something flashy. And JG, see it on campus. I can only imagine what the football car lot looks like. Everyone thinks they have to have something that draws attention in order to feel successful, but you don't. And you're doing it the right way. We appreciate you coming on. I got a rapid fire 5 questions for our fans to get to know you a little bit more, and then we'll let you get out of here. JG, do you have one more thing for Ike?
No, not at the moment. The awareness that you've got, Ike, is pretty amazing, man. Pretty amazing.
Appreciate it. All right, Ike, you ready? Here we go. What do you do to calm your butterflies before a big competition?
I take 3 deep breaths. You'll see me walk into the box, take 3 deep breaths. And then in the locker room, I just try and play, old throwback songs to stay loose.
Gotcha. Even though he don't know who Easy is, JG.
I know, man. I know.
What is your favorite food to eat at night before a big competition?
Either like a pizza or a steak.
Awesome. Do you have any rituals or superstitions?
No, I normally just, keep a routine. So just stick to the routine.
So you're not the guy that wear the same socks because you hit 3 home runs in this game?
No.
Gotcha. Where's your favorite place to eat at in Auburn?
I would have to say Taco Mama's.
Good choice. Solid choice.
Last one. What are you studying in school and why?
I'm a business admin major. I don't know what I want to do with it yet, but I thought it's a broad major and I can do a whole bunch of things with it. So I thought, be broad and then narrow it down, once we get out of college.
Awesome. Well, JG, we appreciate you. JG, appreciate you being the co-host always awesome as always. You know, I've known JG for a long time, so he's been covering sports at Auburn. You'll get to know him a little bit more as your career continues. We thank you for all you do for Auburn. Continue much success this season, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, this is John Cohen, and I fully endorse On to Victory and its mission to support our student athletes. Let's all do our part and join On to Victory today. War Eagle.
Thank you, Auburn family, for tuning in and listening to On to Victory podcast with my co-host, JG. Also, we'd like to thank Ike Irish for coming on and giving us his time. We look forward to hearing from him later on this season, but we got another big guest coming up. Spring football is about to start actually today, and the guy that will be giving us some information will be no other than Jarquez Hunter. So stay tuned.
War Eagle, everyone!
College athletics is changing, and the Auburn family will respond.
On to Victory is the NIL collective of the Auburn Tigers, and they're leading the way.
I encourage everyone to go to ontovictory.com.
Hey, Auburn family, let's continue to make a tremendous difference in the lives of these student athletes. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Hello, Auburn family. This is Jason Campbell, your host. I have my co-host, JG Tate, on here as well. But we got a special guest for you today, and we've already gave you an introduction of who's about to come on, so we don't want to waste any time. But thank you for tuning in to the On to Victory podcast, where we're trying to do big things and bring you action from behind the shields. So welcome, Jarquez Hunter.
How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. How's your day?
It's been going good. Just getting class and stuff out the way so I can go to practice.
So, Jarquez, speaking of that, practice starts today in February. I am used to spring ball starting in the middle of March. Talk about the effects of, spring ball actually being moved up to February 28th. I mean, starting today, February 27th, instead of being like March the 10th or March the 11th. From a workout standpoint, did the intensity have to increase fast, or were y'all still able to get a lot of workouts in before you get ready to start spring ball?
Well, I think the last couple of weeks, I think we done got a lot of workouts in going into this week so we can start spring ball. I mean, we really didn't increase much. We kept doing the same schedule, but that just took like the weight wise off us a little bit so we can get our bodies ready for this week.
Yeah, and also speaking of that, so you guys didn't make a bowl game this year, and we understand that this is something that Auburn wants to get back to, is being competitive. To play in more than just a bowl game, to be in the playoff hunt. Talk about that time that you guys had when you weren't playing in a bowl game. What did y'all do during that time to prepare your minds and to get ready for this offseason?
I mean, the time we had off because we didn't make a bowl game, I think that was gave us more time to prepare for ourselves this year. Get more work, work on your craft, just go out there and work and get better so we can get better for this year coming up.
Jarquez, what was personally, your attitude about not making a bowl? Did it make you angry? I know you're a hard worker anyway, so you don't need an extra motivation, but just how did it sting? Is it something that still motivates you?
I mean, yeah, it made me kind of mad because I know we was better than what we showed people. I think we could have made a bowl game. We really just went out there and played our best, but it made me mad and wanted to go work harder for this year coming up.
Talk about the adjustment for you. You're going to be a primary back this year, going to be carrying a heavier load. Just talk about maybe some mental adjustments you're going through, just kind of becoming the man.
I mean, nothing really changed. I'm still going to go out there and work hard every day and do the same thing I always been to get better.
What have you been specifically working on during this offseason? I know you've been getting stronger, but you're already a really strong dude. Maybe some specific stuff to being a good tailback?
I've been working more on my cuts and I got to work on better holding the ball with my left hand. That's what I struggle as a running back. So I know I had to get better than that. So I've been working on my feet work and my ball handling.
Have you had conversations with Coach Freeze just about this offense and your role in it?
Yes, sir. I have. I know we're going to be more up on tempo. We're going to be running fast-paced offense this year.
Mm-hmm. How does that affect you as a tailback? You just got to be ready to go more downs, I guess, more snaps?
I mean, you just got to be mentally and physically ready. Like, just got to know your part.
Now, in high school, you were an outstanding power lifter. Have you adjusted the way you lift weights now?
I mean, I lift the weight the same way. I just go in there and just compete. I just try to put the most weight. I try to beat everybody in the weight room too.
JG, the man would lift weights in cowboy boots if he could.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me do it here.
I know you'd love to try though. Talk about this new facility, Jarquez. You had a chance to you worked out in the old facility. You're in the new place now. Just talk about how it's different working out in the Walters facility.
I mean, it's much better. We got the old facility, we had all the old stuff, and it really didn't work as well. But now we got like new stuff we can have. We got new bars, new weights. Like, we just got more stuff we can use here.
When you get on that field today, it's going to be the first time you guys have practiced officially out there. Is it going to be kind of exciting in a way to be in a new space?
Yeah, I'm excited to go practice on this new field. I think it's going to be better than the old.
I just got one question though. What makes this football field different than the other football field? Because they both grass.
They both grass, but we getting more work over here. This is a new start to a new year.
See, I know what the answer is, JG. It's the scenery. You know what I'm saying? At the new facility, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get the all glass doors and windows and everything, and then it looks more up to par, you know. So it makes you feel better about going to practice. So,
yeah, but Jarquez ain't a flashy guy. He's here for the work. You know what I mean?
Hey, I know he's here for the work, but that's why he be wearing them cowboy boots with no shirt pregame, walking in Jordan hair.
And they got 2 locker rooms at the new facility too. 2.
Right. So talk about the lounge, Jarquez, and then talk about like the actual locker room where y'all take y'all shoulder pads and put them on like a cleaning thing that cleans your pads and your helmets for you guys.
I mean, I think that's better. I mean, in the older facility, we used to both locker rooms were the same, like the lounge and the locker room. Like our practice locker room were the same, but now we got like this new facility. We got like a sitting area locker room, like you can sit and just chill and talk to your teammates, and the other one like where you actually get changed for practice and stuff.
It's been such an incredible 3 or 4 months for Carnell Williams, your position coach, a guy who we've known a long time. Obviously, J-Cam played with him and knows him really well. It seems like people now realize what a stud he is, like on a personal level. You've known him a while, and you know what a stud he's been this whole time. Just talk about how cool it's been to see him these last 3 months, just kind of people really realizing how great of a guy he is.
Yeah, because Kodak is a great person. Like, he done taught me so much about life and football together. Like, me and Kodak, I just go out there and talk to him some days just to learn about life and stuff.
Now that you had, with Tank gone now and you had a chance to play with him for a while, I know he took you under your wing when you were first starting out. Talk about what you learned from Tank playing that position.
I mean, he taught me a lot. Like, when I first got here, he told me how the game was going to be much faster, which it was. I mean, high school and college is much different. Like, people are faster, bigger, and stronger. And me and Tank, we used to just go out and work out all the time. He teach me, like, the stuff he used to do to work to get better in the field, he taught me.
Yeah. I would say this, Jarquez, what drives you as a competitor? Like, what should people look for this year from a fan base? What should they expect from Jarquez Hunter in 2023?
Just a better player, because I'm going to work everything that I was lacking last year. I'm going to work better this spring, this offseason to get better at that, so I can be a better player this upcoming season. And that's for me, myself, and for the team.
Yeah. Well, I tell you this, you got some late Christmas gifts this year. The offensive line got revamped through the transfer portal. You know, you got some big studs, man, that they was able to bring in. Talk about what you've seen from these guys so far doing the workouts and getting ready for spring ball today.
Well, they've been in there working their tails off. I mean, they're getting faster, stronger. I can see it when we do little walkthroughs. I can tell that they got much faster with their movement and stuff, and they're picking up better on their calls, like protections and stuff like that.
All right, JG, gonna hit you with one more as well.
Yeah, got one more for you. Coach Freese was telling us the other day that this is going to be a very rigorous spring practice. I'm not worried about you because I know you can handle it, Jarquez. You're a tough dude. But talk about what your expectations are for spring. Do you think there's going to be more hitting and stuff? And do you feel like the players know they got to prove something now that it's a new coaching staff?
I think it's going to be more intense because it's new to everybody, and everybody trying to go in there and prove themselves to the new coaching staff. So I think it's going to be more intense and like more exciting at practice.
And Jarquez, we've entered this new world of NIL, and everyone knows that, you know, it's changed the landscape of college sports and for our student athletes. But talk about, like, you know, being part of On to Victory, what NIL is doing for you, your teammates, and you know, just in your own words, like, what does it mean?
NIL, I mean, it helps me like with my family. Like I can help my family with the NIL stuff, like. And I can help myself like with my own personal business that I had to take care of. Like I can help that's what I use mine for.
See, JG Jarquez is one of those guys from Mississippi, so he's not going to be a big spender. You know, Jarquez is going to keep it real level. I just wonder, where did he like to take someone? Well, we're not even going to ask him that question on the air. I don't even want to know if he got a girlfriend. Let's not even go there. Let's not even worry about it. Let's just keep that an open question. But Jarquez, I will say this. So I got 5 questions for you. And before I ask these 5 questions, I want to ask JG, does he has one more? Because he has this little bobblehead that he has in front of him. So can you tell us one song that you know who this guy is and what did he sing in the past?
That's Eazy-E, Jarquez. So you know one song by Eazy-E or NWA?
Did he sing Straight Outta Compton?
He did. We will give him credit for that, J-Cam.
Oh, man.
Absolutely accept
credit. We are all right.
Yes, there's hope for the next generation.
1 for 1 today. 1 for 1. Just someone in our era, you know. We're just trying to have a little fun with you, Jarquez. Yeah. You pass the test. Pass the test. But I got 5 good quick questions for you, rapid fire, before we let you get out of here and get ready for spring practice. Number 1, who is your favorite sports hero?
Walter Payton.
Nice.
Yes.
Mississippi guy. What are 3 reasons you like to bring to? What are 3 reasons you feel like that are part of a team that's important? 3 things, I should say.
3: leadership, relationships, and dedication.
I like it. Do you have any rituals or superstitions?
No, sir.
All right, the man don't have one. That's why almost 2 in a row.
No, in high school, I used to wear the same socks every Friday.
Oh man, I hope you washed them.
I didn't wash them.
Man,
shake them off, and put them in my locker. We'll wear them every Friday.
TJG, that's how he broke so many tackles, man. It was smelling that funk, man. You know what I'm saying? They smell that funk. What is your favorite place to eat in Auburn?
I like to go to Baumhouse.
Okay.
Nice choice.
Okay. What are you studying in school and why?
I'm studying natural resource management. It's like a forestry degree. I study that because I'm an outside guy and I like to do like hand-on things instead of just sitting around all day.
Awesome. But Jarquez, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. We appreciate all you do for Auburn, and man, we look forward to you having a great spring, and we'll be back with you at some point in time this season. But thank you, Jarquez, for coming on. Hey, people, stay tuned in. The next guest, none other than himself, Coach Bruce Pearl, will be coming on the On to Victory podcast. So at JG and myself, we'll be bringing you all the noise next episode with Coach Pearl. Stay tuned.
War Eagle, this is John Cohen, and I fully endorse On to Victory and its mission to support our student athletes. Let's all do our part and join On to Victory today. War Eagle.
Hello, Auburn family. This is Jason Campbell, the host of On to Victory podcast. I bring to you a special treat today. I know everyone is waiting. Can't wait to hear the voice of Bruce Pearl. One of the most exceptional coaches we've had in the SEC in years, and has over 150 wins and 9 seasons as the head coach at Auburn University. And right now, I have to just bring him in and get right to the point because we know he's a busy man. Coach Pearl, how you doing?
Jason, Jay, how you guys doing? I'm doing fine, thank you.
Doing great. Well, Coach, we understand it's been a tough, last couple of games. Team has fought really hard, but a lot of these games are coming down to the wire, and and everything. But talk about the team morale at this standpoint of the season so far.
I'll tell you what, Jason. The last 3 Saturdays or 3 or 4 Saturdays have been tough, which makes going to church on Sunday even more tough. Gosh, at Tennessee in a last possession game. Home against Alabama, where we really played about as well as we could play for about 34 minutes and have a chance, but we don't pull it off. Lose at the buzzer at Vandy on a Saturday night, and then just get manhandled in the second half by Kentucky. So those have been 4 tough loss. So how is the team? They're hurt. They're discouraged. Their confidence is challenged in themselves and in what we're doing, because we've just lost so many here down the stretch against all good teams. Now, we beat Missouri, and that was a great win for us. And we did a lot of we won a lot of games early against Mississippi State or against Arkansas, and that Northwestern win is a big win for us, a quad 1 win. But the losing is absolutely taking its toll. And then what you got next is we got to go play Alabama with a conference championship on the line, and then we got to go host Tennessee. It's obviously the toughest schedule that we've ever had, playing the top 3 teams twice and at Kentucky. But our kids are grinding, right? Yeah. And we're grinding, and with the exception of probably the last 10 minutes of the Kentucky game, we've been in everything. And so we got to try to find a way to scrap and claw and see if we can win one of these games to help our position to get in the tournament.
Yeah, BP, we're talking about them getting discouraged. I know exactly what you're talking about, these tough losses. How do you kind of get that turned toward a more positive view for them? Can you go back and say, look what you did against Missouri and the way you played there? How do you kind of do that?
You know what? You focus on a process. All right, look, here are the things that we did not do, and they're controllable. Like, worry about the things you can control. And so that's what I try to do in our breakdown. Look, we could guard this better. And this wasn't just that they ran great offense. We just didn't do this, and give the guys, oh, yeah, we could do that. And this is where we didn't execute that. Well, we could do that. Yeah. And so just you got to go at it from that standpoint. They got to trust the process. They got to trust they got to trust themselves. And then probably most importantly, you got to trust each other, to be in the gaps defensively and help each other out, to help a helper, so on and so forth. To not worry about kicking the ball out to the guy that's hot. Kick it out to the open man. If he wants to take it, he can. If he can move it on. Yeah. But so that all just gets challenged when you're not winning.
At this point, what are you thinking about seeding, BP? Do you think you need another win one way or another?
I do. I think we do need another win. And, whether it be, Alabama or Tennessee or, certainly in the SEC tournament. Look, it is about the body of work. All right. And the body of work is pretty darn good. I mean, it's pretty darn good. You and I talked before the season. We're kind of where I thought we would be, right? I mean, that doesn't mean I'm happy with where we are, but I kind of thought where we would be. Why aren't we better? I think part of the reason why we're not better was our best guard this summer, or one of the best guards this summer, was Chance Westry. And then he gets hurt. He comes back from injury. He's not right. He's not ready. We try. It's just not there. So now we don't bring anybody in really in the backcourt to challenge Wendell or KD or Al, Lior, not only but to make us better. We don't get better there. Trey is solid as a backup, but he really hasn't challenged Wendell. Right. And then on the front line, Janai came in, and he as far as a newcomer is concerned, if they had a newcomer of the year in the SEC, Janai Broome could be it. I mean, Miller's the freshman of the year. Gigi Jackson's right there. But Janai Broome has been a great replacement, for Walker Kessler. And Yohan Traore is going to be a really good player. He's just not ready right now. So 3 freshmen and a transfer just weren't enough help to help this team, after we lost 2 first-round draft picks, be better than what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing about about season. The season's a long journey, and y'all played a tough SEC schedule this year, and of course outside the SEC, it's been a schedule as well. But that's how you mount yourselves up. You guys have fought really hard. It's been a couple of tough losses, but Coach, before I get to the NIL question, what do you think has been the most disappointing loss this season out of all of those tough losses?
Well, I'd say Alabama at home because we played well enough to win. Tennessee on the road because I used to coach there. Vandy because it was at the buzzer, and then Kentucky because it was embarrassing. So sorry, but I can't pick one. But you can pick from those four.
And then on the plus side, probably the Missouri game. That was a fine. You were start to finish on that one.
Missouri game was great. Mississippi State game was great. Arkansas game was great. Yeah. We beat several conference champions like Bradley, Colgate, Northwestern was a great win. St. Louis was a great win. You're beating Washington on a row was really good.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, Coach, we know everyone got you on here while we have you on here. JG is the co-host today. He's looking sharp and everything with his tie on. I got to step my game up, So, everyone wants to hear about the NIL. And I'm going to let you jump on JG real quick, but then I want to talk to you about NIL, give you two questions for our subscribers and our fans and then and everything.
All right, Jason, we'll go to that. Just a few other things. Trying to make sense. BP, when you were an assistant coach, you kind of knew back at Iowa and back in those days, you knew what your roster was going to be like a year from now, 2 years from now. Things have changed so much with the way the portal works. Talk about just how the pressure and the strain for all coaches now, knowing that you don't know what you're going to have next season already.
Yeah, it's very, very uncharted waters. And so we're all kind of going through this together. We were a year late to the party in two respects, Jay. One, because we had such incredible freshmen that came in the last few classes, like Isaac Okoro, to a lesser extent, but to some extent, JT Thor, Sharif, and then, of course, Jabari, all back to back to back. And those guys were all one-and-done guys.
Yeah.
And so everybody, I think, learned a year ago what we didn't learn, and that is, holy cow, really, really good freshmen. I mean, really good freshmen have a hard time playing dominant roles in Power 5. We didn't learn that because the only freshman we had was Jabari. And so tough lesson to learn because we had 4 transfers that year.
Yeah.
Zach, KD, Wendell, and Walker. That worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Go 3 freshmen and 1 transfer, it didn't work out as well, and that's just sort of part of the learning curve. The second thing would have been a little bit on the NIL side in the sense that we are, thanks to On to Victory, we're up and running, and our student athletes are benefiting. And I got to tell you, I'm so happy for our student athletes and our families because the fact that the players are able to benefit from their name, image, and likeness. I've always been an advocate for a realistic scholarship. These kids work so very, very hard. For most of them, Jason, this did not happen to you, but a lot of guys, Jason, that you played with that had dreams about playing in the NFL someday that worked just as hard as you did to try to get there, but didn't quite make it. They did not quite make it. And now some of those same kids could have gotten a little bit of a jump start in their lives had they had an NIL back then. And, you would have looked back and said, you know what? Good for them. They earned it.
Yeah.
Kind of blocking and tackling and doing all these double things. And so we've always wanted to help the kids, but you've never been able to. Now you can. As it relates to Auburn basketball, we were probably not quite, but we were a little late to the party. We got it going a little bit last spring, but boy, last fall during that early signing period, we just weren't up and running. And thanks to the job that you guys are doing, On to Victory is up and running, and that's going to make all of our programs stronger.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Coach. You talking about the NIL and the importance of it because that's the main thing. Having a recruit on NIL nowadays is it's a new ball game. Like I said, we didn't have to deal with that back when we came through as high-priced recruits. Now, a lot of parents want to ask about NIL, but from a standpoint, telling the fans, their donation and things that they're doing, getting involved with NIL, every little bit counts. And you touched on a little bit of that, and I'll just say, like, how do you recruit on NIL?
Well, Jason, here's this is how I look at it. This is what I tell my friends, This is what I tell the Auburn family. This is what I tell anybody that's supporting any team, not just Auburn, anybody. My advice to any donor around the country, if anybody asks you, are you participating in NIL? And you say, no, I'm not. The question, why? Why aren't you participating? Because I'm not necessarily asking donors to think about giving more. We raise a lot of money for charity. We got inflation going on. We got, everybody's in a different circumstance. So I don't like asking people for more than what they can give. I don't want to do that. But I do think it's okay for me to say to them, in your giving, I think NIL should be part of it. I think it should be a part of it. Because when you're giving to scholarships, when you're giving to the university for education, when you're giving, to different things, and you're supporting different things, why not support the student athletes? They're a huge part of this equation. They're actually the biggest part of the equation. And for so many years, they were not able to be compensated fairly. And so it makes a huge, huge difference when we can offer certainly a realistic scholarship. Now, in the real world, you had said it about some kind of, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but talk about a certain price on for recruiting, so on and so forth. People say, well, is this sustainable? I don't know whether it's sustainable, but I know it's here and I know it's now. And I do think that what our donors and our fans need to understand is this. I'm going to do the best I can to be a good steward of our budget. I've been head coach at Auburn this is my 9th season. I don't want to say never, but I want to say hardly ever been over budget. And I've almost always been under my budget. Man, I spent less than I had in my budget. I don't want to pat in the back. That's what I'm supposed to do. But because I am cognizant of the money that our university gives to us to run our department, the way we travel, the people that we take, I want it to be done right. But I'm just not going to overspend on things. And that's just something the fans have to trust. So therefore, I think our On to Victory is going to evaluate the market, evaluate the program, and they're going to be fair with the kids. They're not going to over and they're not going to under. They're going to do whatever the market says should be done in a very fair way. And I would support that.
No, we appreciate you, Coach, and we thank you for your time. JG, you have one more. We're going to let Coach get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, BP, just kind of, you were talking about recruiting and the role that On to Victory plays. What's the toughest part of recruiting for you? You've been doing it a long time. You've been very good at it for a long time.
I mean, I think the toughest part of it now is, what's going to happen with your own team, and who's coming back? Like you had said it earlier.
Yeah.
When I was assistant coach, freshmen became sophomores. Sophomores became juniors. You had an idea. Now you got the one-on-one. Now you got the transfer portal that works both ways. You have no idea what your roster is going to look like. You just don't. And so it allows for people to reload quickly. And I think in some ways it's created a little bit of parity. Obviously I've been a program developer my whole career, my whole life. That's what I've done is develop programs. And you do it over a period of time with character and culture. And guys just get older and get better and get tougher, and you win along the way. And at the end of the guy's careers, you win big. That's just not the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And so, year one, my first year, we were able to get Jabari, 4 guys to the transfer portal. Boom, we're the best team in the country. And we're probably going to wind up being a little bit more transfer heavy this time around as well.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. Appreciate your efforts. Good luck to you guys this week. Like I said, you competed very hard this season. And like I said, just continue to do what you do. Everything will fall in place. But wish the Tigers the best against Alabama and Tennessee on Saturday. So War Eagle to you, Coach.
We appreciate all the support, guys. We really do. We're grateful for it. War Eagle.
Thanks, BP.
So you tuned on to the podcast of On to Victory. My co-host, JG, myself, Jason Campbell. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today, Auburn family. We look forward to hearing you. Give us some insight. Let us know what some questions you want to hear in our next episode for some of our upcoming guests. Thank you, and War Eagle.